Welcome back to I Did This Instead of Killing Myself, stand-up comedy podcast in Greenville, South Carolina. My name's David. It's the week... did that voice just squeak? Shit. Dave? My name's David. Fuck. It's the week of March 27th, 2023. Hope you had a good weekend. Hope you have a good start to your Monday. We had an awesome weekend here in Greenville at the Comedy Zone. Dave Landau was headlining. And I got to hang out all weekend working at the Comedy Zone, watching Dave perform to some sold-out shows. He's hilarious, dark, edgy, just crushed all weekend. And he's a guy I followed for a long time and really liked hanging out with him. And I bring it up because he kind of reminds me of our guest today. Another guy who is got a really dark, cynical, dry sense of humor and just absolutely hilarious. One of the funniest dudes I've met here in the Carolinas. Our guest today, Dan Sweeney. Dan's great. I met Dan a year or two ago, I think, at a small bar show in Charleston. And ever since I met him, I wanted to get him on for an interview because he's just absolutely hilarious and a guy you should know. So, some stuff about Dan. By day, he's a carpenter, does some really great woodwork. You can follow his work at Wisecrack Woodworks on Instagram, link below. He's also a golfer, a really good golfer. Check out his Insta. He's got some nice shots on there. A nice stinger draw, runs a podcast with his lovely fiance Katie called Coots and Pen. Very funny. Check that out. Got a new episode that just dropped this weekend. Also linked below. Check that out. Dan's originally from Connecticut, now living in Charleston. He's done stand-up comedy for the last 5 years. He's totally sober now, but he has fun past of drug and alcohol abuse, which we talk about on the show. He spent one semester in law school. It didn't really take, and then he went to do open mics, and I think he's found a home on stage because he's just a killer. On this episode, we talk about the inspiration for Dan's dark comedy and how we think it may have been inspired by his experience with 9/11, where I like this story a lot, where his dad worked next to the Twin Towers. And so he had to witness it from school. And then he had a birthday the next day. And then later his dad took him and the family to the rubble heap to kind of look down at just what had happened. And that'll change your perspective. So, yeah. We talked about the most fucked up movies we've ever seen. Simon Birch, the Smushy Syndrome kid killing a girl with the baseball. Come and See, Bone Tomahawk. Talk about the state of the world, the instability, the erosion of trust in institutions, the nature of reality, Dan's nostalgia for the 80s and 90s, what we think happens when we die, and what gives Dan peace about death. Good stuff. It's a fun interview. I hope you enjoy it. Before we get to the interview, though, here's what's going on this week in local comedy, the week of March 27th, 2023. All right, tonight, Coffee Underground, hosted by No Expectations Comedy. 7 o'clock show, hosted by Travis Thubbin, Craig Holcomb. Comics sign up at 6. Tuesday, Sharky's Pub, 8 o'clock show. Comics sign up at 7:30. We have hosts Callie Pasafumi and Amelia Nelson. Also on Tuesday, we have the Art Bar in Columbia. This is an 8:30 show, hosted by Patrick Fowler. Also on Tuesday, we have the Odd in Asheville, hosted by James Harrod. 9 o'clock show. On Wednesday, we have the Radio Room, hosted by Adam Schulte. That's an 8:30 show. Also on Wednesday, we have Tom Emmons, Swamp Rabbit Comedy, open mic at the VFW Post 9273 in Piedmont. Comics sign up at 6. Show starts at 6:30. Also on Wednesday, we have the Disclaimer open mic in Asheville, hosted by Carrie Goff. That's an 8 o'clock show. On Thursday, we have Funny or Fired at the Comedy Zone. This is a comedy game show hosted by Chris Wilson and Ryan Rubin. It's a fun setup. There's 10 comics, 5 rounds, where the audience votes. So if they're not funny, you get to vote them off. And they do kind of, I've done one of these before. There's like, you can throw stuff at the comics. There's different stuff that they have to do, and pretty fun. We have Adam Covington, Amanda Neal, Carrie Adams, Hollywood, Jazz Gill, Gio Wagner, Laura Connell, Robin Scott, Scooter Fowler, and Zach Edwards. That's 8 o'clock, $10 cover. On Friday, we have All Jokes Aside at Habiba's, hosted by Dante Anderson. That's a 9 o'clock show. And on Saturday, we have April Fool's Comedy Showcase at Voodoo Brewing Company in Fountain Inn. This is a really good show. Melly Kazel is hosting, and we have awesome lineup. Coble Panetti, Chris Wilson, and Travis Thubband. That's going to be great. And this weekend at the Comedy Zone, we have a hypnotist. Hypnotist Rich Guzzi. Nothing beats laughing with or at your friends as a master hypnotist makes them do all sorts of hilarious antics on stage. I've never seen a hypnotist. Well, that should be fun. Check it out. There's 2 shows on Friday, March 31st at 7 and 9, and 2 shows on Saturday, April 1st at 6 and 9. Tickets available at greenvillecomedyzone.com. All right. That's it for local comedy. Hope you guys have a great week, and I hope you enjoy my interview with Dan. Here it is.
I was like, I don't think so.
Yeah,
but
for this, you mean?
Yeah, and I was like, I don't think he's gonna be.
No, we're not gonna be smoking weed on the
torching weed because you're not a weed guy, are you?
Well, yeah,
you are.
I mean, on the record, I'll say it's the Delta 8 legal variety.
Yeah.
That but since I stopped drinking, I kind of switched over to that.
The CBD and the Delta 8 and the hemp and all that shit.
Yeah, and you got this nice
high
rise CBD lime.
Not
seltzer.
A sponsor, but I wish they would. Be nice to get free shit.
Dude.
Free shit that's delicious.
Have any of your podcast ventures gotten sponsorships?
No,
haven't gotten that far.
Raj's gas station dick pills.
Right.
You know those dick pills you get sometimes?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they were a sponsor, but I would take them.
For sure. Have you seen Too Funny to Fail, the documentary about the Dana Carvey show?
Yes.
How their sponsors all bailed, and by the end they got a Chinese restaurant to do it?
Yeah. That was a great show. Mm-hmm. I mean, I was obviously too young, but watching the documentary, and you're like, it's a great cast of characters that they had. They had Louis, Colbert, Carell, all those guys. Was it Robert Smigel?
Yeah.
And then you got Dana Carvey.
Yeah.
Heading the whole thing.
And Dana Carvey, nobody expected him to be a savage after his little church lady stuff. They thought.
No. He's kind of I've watched interviews with him, and he's kind of he's got a darkness about him.
Does he?
Yeah, I don't think he had kind of like a weird childhood, and his dad was kind of a dick to him.
And,
and obviously there's some sort of dark energy that needs to be exacerbated somehow.
For sure. But his comedy was kind of sanitized for the mainstream stuff.
Yeah.
And SNL and stuff. And then
that's how you get sponsors.
Right. And then he hired the craziest group of savages to do that show. It was so beautiful.
Yeah, I remember there was one skit was it the milking one? They were doing it was like President Clinton and he's feeding puppies with his nipples.
Yeah, they opened with that.
And then right afterwards, it was like I think a commercial for like Home Improvement where one of the kids has like cancer or something like that, and it was like a real serious episode.
Yeah, I don't want to die, Dad.
Yeah, and then right before that, it was just I'm gonna feed these little puppies, It was nice.
Yeah, that was good shit. Speaking of that, you're a savage, dude.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Thank you.
As a comic.
Oh, I appreciate
remember,
that.
Yeah. Well, I distinctly remember you. I didn't want to talk to you because, like, when I first came down for...
was it Mini Bar?
LA Borough Mini Bar show. Yeah, we're in Charleston right now at Dan Sweeney's lovely apartment.
Yes. Yeah, this is all the lady who did all this.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it'd just be like a couch.
She decorated most of the stuff?
Yeah. Oh, look at that's my pillow, the cat with the heart glasses. But, yeah, this is all her. Everything that looks nice and smells nice.
Yeah.
This is all her.
Yeah, you need a good girl.
Yeah.
But I remember at that mini bar show.
That was a good show.
Yeah, it was fun. But I was a new comic, and I could tell you were not. I could tell you were fucking like, as soon as I heard your jokes too.
Oh, that's South Carolina comedy too, because the veterans are quote unquote they've just been doing it for like 2-3 years.
Yeah. Well, how long have you been doing it?
I guess I started when I moved here in March of 2018. So. It's almost 5 years.
Shit, yeah.
Yeah, but then 2 of those were COVID, where I didn't really do shit.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's been 5 years of my life where I think about the dream.
The dream.
Yeah, the dream, man.
The dream.
Where it kind of like takes hold of your life and
you're
like, I want to do this.
You want to do yeah.
Yeah, it's the best.
Yeah.
It's the absolute best
I
thing.
still remember the first joke that you told. Do you care if I say it?
No. I don't remember.
It was your joke. I don't know if you still do this one. But it was about women coaching in the NFL.
Oh, yeah.
It was about how most women maybe would. I don't know if I got this exactly right, but the women who should do it are who've had an abortion.
Yeah, because they know to make a game time decision with time on the clock, and they'll cut a player from the team. Yeah. Yeah, and that's actually...
and you're punching up. And I remember you qualify this.
You got to punch up.
This is
It's pro
women.
Pro-women.
Pro-women in sports.
Yeah, pro-abortion.
And pro-choice. Pro-abort. You checked all of that.
It needs
That's fantastic. Yeah.
The logic is there. That's why I think it's an okay joke.
It's great, dude. It's great.
Thank you.
And
I appreciate
I like
that.
stuff like that because, I don't know, I feel like my temperament is more like, nice guy, golden retriever type personality where I'm just like, whatever, figuring shit out.
Yeah.
Like, that's just my personality. But you're just like...
You're a very nice guy.
Cutting. Yeah, I don't know. I try...
There's probably
but
some
it could
anger.
Be like, there's
some resentment
pat you on
in there.
the head. That's not funny.
Yeah.
Like, looking back, you're like, well, fuck. But, your shit, I feel like,
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have always had a bit of a darker disposition towards life because it's
have
pretty.
You?
Yeah, I think. Well, I remember like a vivid moment. This sounds real campy, but like 9/11 was sort of like a big deal for the nation, but also for my family because my dad worked next to the Twin Towers.
Oh, shit.
Right next to him. So, and I remember going and visiting him for like take your kid to work day and shit.
Okay, so at this point, you were living...
Yeah, I was living in Connecticut.
You were living in Connecticut. That's right.
Yeah, it's like a patio for New York City, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he would go into the city, and we visited him and like, been in his building, been on the top floor, looked at the Twin Towers and stuff. And then I was in 5th grade, and they put it on TV. Yeah. Like for class, after the first plane hit, they were like, "Hey," they were like, my teacher was like, "History's happening. We're gonna watch this."
Yeah.
Like, I can't believe this is happening.
Too. I was in 7th grade. I remember exactly
dude,
that day.
And you're like, "What the fuck?" And then the second plane hit. We watched the second plane hit on TV, and my teacher was like, "Ugh, like this is history. This is really bad." And people were freaking out. I remember kids going to school. Like kids
and
were.
Your dad at the time was still working right next.
Oh
to
yeah,
you?
that's why. And I kind of freaked out. I was like, "Oh shit, is he there?" And kids at my school lost parents. Like it was kind of it was a bad day,
dude. Yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
And then the next day, it's my birthday, right? So I'm turning 11, and I'm hanging out with my dad,
right?
And he's in shock, right? And he's talking to me like I'm his
wait. Your birthday
buddy.
was on September 12th?
Yeah. Day
oh,
after.
dude.
And I didn't go to school,
right?
9/11, and he didn't go to work because of 9/11. So we were just hanging out.
Yeah.
And he was just talking to me like I was his drinking buddy. So he was just
he
had his like arm around me, and he's like,
telling you way too much.
Yeah, he's like, when people jumped from the towers, they hit the ground and they splat like tomatoes. And I was like, whoa. And then he's like, let's go have some birthday cake,
Yeah.
And so it was like a weird thing. And then after that, he took our whole family. He took my like 2-year-old sister.
Yeah.
I think my brother was like 9 and I was 11.
Yeah.
And he took us to his building like a month after.
Shit.
So we went and we went to the top of his building and like looked out, and the windows are blown out, and we looked down
at like the rubble,
at the ruins
like
of the Twin Towers. Yeah. It was wild. There was like
twisted metal of
there was a crucifix made out of a fucking steel beams, and I just remember being
like, "Come on, kids, take some."
But
pictures.
prior to that, I was like this little. I believed in Santa and God and shit.
God.
And then
to hit that at 5th grade, like holy shit.
Not that it's like a bad thing, but I remember just being like, wow, like the world's not what I had made it out to be.
Yeah,
it's not.
Yeah, you were exposed.
Yeah,
no wonder you're a comic.
Yeah,
dude.
it was.
That's
interesting.
a good.
Yeah, and it's funny like. Talking to him, I remember like in college, I was doing a bunch of blow, psychedelics, and I was discovering myself.
Yeah,
and I became kind of a conspiracy guy. And I remember being like high at the dinner table once, like on a break or something, and I'd done a real deep dive on 9/11.
Did you watch Loose Change?
No, I watched Zeitgeist.
Zeitgeist?
Yeah, and
is that still available if people want to check it out?
I don't know. I think you might have to like. You might have to go on like a Reddit forum or Rumble or some sort of 4chan. I don't know.
4chan.
Yeah, I mean, and I brought it up to him, and I was like, the government was in on it. The Bushes were friends with the Bin Ladens, blah blah. And he just slammed like because I regret doing this now but I was trying to like pull his like worldview down and like show him the truth, and he was just like, the government would never do that to its people. And now he's like a little older. He's like, yeah, government's kind of fucked up.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe I should look into this again.
But I remember we just talked about it recently, and he was like, I don't think I should have taken you guys there. That was, and I'm happy he did it. I'm happy he took us to go look at the.
Yeah.
It was a very visceral, intense.
Yeah, that could have formed your whole.
I was crying, and I didn't understand why I was crying, and he was like not. He didn't like that I was crying. I think.
Yeah.
I think he just wanted to be there in the history of the moment, and then he had this little fucking ginger cunt crying, and I just remember that experience being like.
Wait, so when he took you to the top floor, when was that exactly? That was how long after the...
This is October of 2001.
Oh, my God. Yeah. Nothing was cleaned up by then.
No. They're probably still pulling bodies out and stuff. And it was weird. I mean, I think like he paid some like security guy like $50, and we got to go in the building. We rode the freight elevator up, and it was just kind of... My mom's holding my sister, and... It's just kind of a
I mean, I see both sides, actually, you know.
Oh, I'm glad he did it.
Like, yeah.
It was good. I think it's good. If I, am near a terrorist attack and I have a child, I'm going to take him and be like, this is where bad things happened, and this is part of the world.
Yeah, it's time for you to be a man now.
Yeah, grow up. Bad things happen to good people.
Dude, I remember, I was in 7th grade, and same thing. They put the news on. And it's funny, my little brother, his birthday was September 11th.
Nice.
And he was, I think he was like 4 at the time, and he had his birthday party at Chuck E. Cheese, and nobody freaking came, and he just didn't understand.
So he's everybody?
But
the worst thing prior to 9/11, the 9/11, the worst thing that I've done some research was, have you ever seen the movie Simon Birch?
No.
It's about this little crippled kid.
Okay.
I'm going to give a brief synopsis.
Yeah.
It's a horrible movie. I remember watching it as a kid, and it really like depressed me.
Simon Birch.
Yeah, Simon Birch. And they literally, and this is like, people who like, you shouldn't, like, if you have a movie with somebody with a disability, you hire someone with a disability. That's kind of like this thing that's been going through the mainstream. This kid was really disabled. It's the only movie he's ever done.
What did he have?
I don't know. He was like, just kind of like, if God took a human and then kind of put him in a ball and then started pulling their like that's what was left of him. I don't know what it was exactly. Mush syndrome. But he was in this movie with Ashley Judd, and he wanted to be this normal kid and like fit in. And I remember one scene. He's short, so he's on the baseball team, and they're like, walk him. Let him walk. Like, don't swing. And he's like, I'm gonna swing. And they're like, just don't swing. And he swings. And he hits a foul ball, and he kills Ashley Judd. And so everybody hates him now because he killed a woman with the foul ball. They were like, just don't swing, you freak. And he swung. And so now now the whole town hates him because he killed like the most beautiful woman. Because Ashley Judd was a fox. And still is. And she's dead now because of this little creature. And so everybody hates him. And the way he redeems himself... And then it's just like him getting hated on, and he looks so weird. And I remember feeling really like rotten about watching this little kid being hated by these kids in the 50s. And then there's a bus crash, and he's the only one who can kind of get in these like little crevices because of his little
contorted.
Yeah, it's a little mush syndrome. So he's the only one who can get, and he starts saving kids. And then, he's in the cold water, and he gets pneumonia, and he dies. And he dies a hero. That's the movie. And that came out on September 11th, 1998. That was the worst thing that had happened prior to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I want to watch that movie now.
I've thought about rewatching it, but I can't. I just remember it making me feel really bad. It was that 9/11 that made me feel really bad, and then 9/11. That's worse.
What's the most fucked up movie you've ever seen? I have one.
What's yours?
What you think about it? Come and See.
What's that?
It's a World War II movie.
Yeah.
It's the most violent portrayal of the Holocaust. It's like the
really?
Eastern European countries when the Germans are coming into this village. It's not in English.
I've heard about the Holocaust.
You've heard about the Holocaust?
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Yeah. A lot of people.
Not good.
A lot of people.
Yeah, a lot of people.
But this was like such an unflinching look at it, and they show like burning a village, and it was all practical effects, and the acting is phenomenal. It's a good, I mean, critically, like, it was highly acclaimed as a good movie. But
who directed it? Was it some European guy?
Yeah.
The Europeans are. They're out there.
If you just Google "come and see," like the poster itself is horrifying.
There's I don't know if there's really like one movie that I've seen that's like fucked me up the most, but there's like certain scenes that have stuck out to me. Like I don't know why this scene really bothers me, but you remember Seven Psychopaths?
No.
Okay, so there's this. It's about like this film. It doesn't matter what it's about, but there's one scene where it's this couple and they're going around killing people, and they break into like an insane asylum, and all the people are just chained up to beds. All the patients are chained to beds, and she's just slowly sawing this dude's neck, and he's just stuck there. Oh, Bone Tomahawk was fucked up.
Bone Tomahawk.
Yeah, that movie really fucked me up.
Is that
That's Kurt Russell, and there's these Native Americans, this Indian tribe. I don't want to say the troglodytes, the trogs or something like that. And they're like the most brutal. But one of the scenes is they like scalp this guy. They take his scalp and then they put it in his mouth and then they like nail it in there. And then they turn him over and they split him in half, like right at his, taint. And you just watch this and he's screaming the entire time. I remember that fucked me up pretty good for a while. I was like, this is not. The helplessness, that's the thing that really gets me.
The helplessness is bad. And I remember come and see the helplessness of when they lock the doors from the outside and fire and burn the building.
Yeah, that's brutal.
And they're trying to get the babies out, but they can't. And it is and the laughter of the Nazi is like the most in the face of it.
Yeah, humor is subjective.
Yeah.
It is. I wouldn't laugh at that. I'm horrified at that. That's why, I don't think jokes are that bad, because there's people who find that funny. Like, I remember reading about the Zetas. Have you heard about the Zetas?
No, enlighten me, dude.
It's this, they're like the most hardcore, I think it's the Zetas, the most hardcore Mexican drug cartel.
Okay.
And I was reading this thing about what they did one day where they like pulled this bus over and they just were taking people out. And they were like raping the women and the children, and then they took they killed all the old men, and then they just took like the age-worthy males, and they were like, "You need to fight to the death." And these guys were
with
like,
each other,
yeah, and they give them like baseball bats, and they were like, and guys would be like, "Please, no, I don't want to," and the guy would be like, "Oh, okay," and let him go, and then he just bash his head in with a bat.
So if they don't fight, they'll bash their head in?
Yeah, but he'd like let them go. He'd be like, all right, you can go. And then, but then they'd turn around and he'd just bash their head in. And people, they're all watching. And, the guys who were kidnapped are crying, but the soldiers are laughing. Yeah. And I'm like, God, the laughter's the thing that kind of fucks with me.
Yeah, for sure.
Because why would you laugh at that?
Yeah, how could you get to that place where like...
I feel like I can kind of understand most humor, but that's where I'm like,
that's where I draw the line.
Yeah, I'm not really getting what you're putting I'm not picking up what you're putting down here, fellas.
Yeah, it's a little too far.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Oh, man.
So that scares me.
Yeah, dude.
The helplessness of that situation. Helplessness in general is something that really kind of... Because I think there's... we live in a society that we really don't have that much control over. Yeah. And that really kind of messes with me a little bit.
Yeah.
The illusion of control.
The illusion of control.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You feel like since COVID, we've... like that illusion has kind of been,
well, it's
pulled
funny.
Back even farther. Like...
Yeah, totally. I think, but even like prior to, I remember like when 2012 was coming around. Yeah. And I would like tell all my friends, I was like, this is the year. Like,
I thought it was the end of the world too, dude. I remember
we were dying.
There was like a date that they were saying was the actual
December
date.
12th, 2012.
I remember waking up. I think it might have been a Saturday morning. Mm-hmm. And I remember waking up and I was just like, listening a little bit. Like, is anything going on?
Looking at the sky.
Yeah. Am I gonna like disappear? Is the rapture gonna happen? Like, is like something gonna?
Oh yeah.
I was pretty disappointed. I was looking forward to something happening.
I was, and I look back in those moments kind of fondly now because I was like, it really wasn't that bad. And I think that's what makes me nostalgic. Like, I like things from like the 80s. Like, I like 80s music. Yeah. I like trucks from the 80s for something like older. And I think it's because when I look back at that, I look about when it was made, and I go, they were fine.
Yeah,
they were fine up until this point right here. Yeah, and I'd like to be a part of that because I know it's a safe. Everything works out. Yeah, up until this point because I don't know what happens tomorrow.
Me neither. The instability now is really like I don't think there's a consensus on what reality is anymore. There maybe was more of one before.
Oh, it's entirely.
But now it's all segmented to your own.
Yeah, there's factions. Yeah, there's your truth and there's no the truth.
Yeah,
that becomes more fragmented. It's always been squirrely. I think it's become a bit more.
But there kind of used to be like Who was the Bane newscaster in like the 80s? Like Walter Cronkite?
Walter Cronkite. He was like, early. And then there was, what is his name? Peter. I forget his name. Tom Brokaw.
Tom Brokaw. Yeah, I remember him in the 90s.
Yeah, Tom Brokaw. And then there was Brian Williams.
Yeah.
Until he lied about getting shot at or something.
Yeah. But there was like this built-in, like, okay, that guy has integrity. Like, tell us what's going on, bro. Yeah. Like, not even partisan. It was just like, okay.
That man with a non-committal accent who can read and look at me earnestly.
Yeah.
I trust. And you want trust. That's what you want. You want, I think, I've acknowledged this about myself because I don't really know a whole lot about nothing. But when I look at, like, some authority figure, whoever that is, I just want them to tell me it's going to be all right.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay, I will. Yeah. And I'm trying to figure that out on my own, like, because I'm afraid, like, one of my biggest fears is shitting my pants.
You never have?
I have. And that's precipitated the fear a little bit, where I'm like, it's because it's embarrassing.
Right.
But then I go, well, if I die, because that's the first thing you do is when you shit your pants. And then you just sit there.
Right.
You're done caring.
Yeah.
It's over. Like, if I shit my pants in a movie theater, I'm like, I hope nobody figures it out. But if I die, then I just shit my pants and I sit there until somebody cleans me up. It's the ending of the scariness that's bringing me peace with death. That's what I've concluded with life. Because, you worry about pandemic, this, that, the other.
Wait, so the shitting your pants after death comforts you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's the ultimate I don't give a fuck move. Like, because when you die, you like evacuate your bowels and your bladder and stuff. And then you just don't care anymore. You're dead. You're like,
yeah, somebody's got to clean it up.
Yeah, but now when I'm alive, I'm like, I got to clean this up. You know? And I got to lie to people as to why I'm going home early.
Yeah, dude. I have shit my pants before.
Nice.
But only like a little.
Yeah.
It's like when you make a miscalculation about what you ate.
Yeah.
Or you're severely dehydrated or something.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh yeah, that's just a fart.
Yeah, it's never a fart.
Damn it.
You can't trust it.
Damn it. But only minor calls. I've never like shit my pants. You're right. That would be bad.
Yeah, it's a little shart.
Yeah.
A little escape. Something inside of you's achieved a little escape velocity. It's letting you know that whatever's going on, because it's not like your stomach's doing great and you shit your pants. I think it's one of those times where you're like, there's some pressure. This doesn't feel good. I'm just gonna. Yeah. I'm gonna pull a little bit off the valve, a little bit like off an air compressor. I'm just gonna release this a little bit so it doesn't build, and then something, oil comes out or something, and you're like, oh, this is an issue. Yeah. But when you die, because I'm afraid of death. I don't know about you. It's one of the things that scares me.
I'm afraid of death. Yeah.
So, but when you die, you just stop caring.
Yeah.
I don't know about the whole heaven and hell thing, but you're done caring.
Yeah. I don't know what happens. I don't think anybody. Yeah.
A lot of people have been arguing about what happens
lately
for, I think, a long time.
Yeah, it's a big topic for the human
big
beings.
History of our species.
Yeah, big question mark. Nobody
what
knows.
happens when you die?
Yeah,
I think you just die.
I remember I had surgery a couple years ago.
Nice.
And I was really excited for the surgery because I was like, I'm going under anesthesia. Like, I'm hoping I'm gonna have like a near death experience. I want to see.
Yeah.
It was literally nothing.
Yeah.
Literally, like, it didn't even feel like. Have you had surgery before?
Yeah, I've had a couple.
Oh, word. So you could, yeah.
It's nice.
When I had it, yeah. Okay, the pain meds, amazing.
Yeah.
Whatever that cocktail was, but I don't even remember feeling like I was asleep. I felt like, and then I was awake. There was literally.
They tell you to stop.
Didn't
counting.
see God. Nope. Didn't see any cool shit.
Yeah.
I remember counting backwards, like yeah, and then just it wasn't even a dream. Like I didn't even have a.
Yeah, nothing.
I've had better dreams and naps recently.
Yeah, I think. I've never had a vision. I had hand surgery. I broke my hand a couple times in high school, and I had to have pins put in the second time. Yeah. And I kind of woke up in that surgery.
Yeah.
Where I was like, huh? I remember waking up and then being like, he's awake. And then I just, like the doctor pushed a button and you're like, sedate him more.
Juice him up, dude.
Yeah. But the last surgery I had was, this is my favorite. This is the best high I've ever had. I was in rehab because I had gone to rehab for drugs, and alcohol. Yeah. And I was playing basketball like the first week there, and I tried to stop some guy, like he was driving, and I put my hand out, and he just kept going, and my shoulder went with him, so my shoulder just dislocated and broke. And so, so then I got surgery.
Dude, shoulder surgery's the worst. It's one of the worst.
I've had 3.
What'd you get? Did you get anchors and shit put in to like
So they cut out
reattach?
part of my clavicle and they put it on the shoulder socket because I didn't have enough bone because bone had chipped off.
Oh, jeez.
I was on my left. That happened on my right too. And then I also had like a labral and rotator cuff tear. So they did like the little arthroscopic.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I got like, looks kind of like stretch marks or something like that. Like 2 lines and then little dots and stuff.
The rotator cuff repair I've heard is one of the most painful recoveries.
Yeah, it just sucks.
It's just
it's
lingering,
and it's just it's an unstable part of your body. It's the only thing that moves like an owl's neck. It just moves like in 3. It's the most.
Yeah. You
can't do this. I mean, unless you're some sort of like gymnast or something like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's that delicate part of your body. So this is the last one I had, and I got it like right after I got out of rehab. I didn't get it while I was in rehab. And so I'd been off drugs and alcohol for like 90 days at this point.
Right.
And they're prepping me for surgery, and they're like, all right, we're going to just give you like the Twilight cocktail or whatever.
Yeah.
And one of the things is Versed, which is like a benzodiazepine, which is like Xanax, alprazolam, stuff. It's like the relaxing
drug.
all
these shit.
Yeah. And they're injecting it into you, and it just hit my body, and I was like, oh, like I pretty much like, it sounded like I was coming. And the nurse was like, are you all right? And I was just like, I haven't been high in 90 days. This feels so good. And
she was like, dude, should we be giving this guy this?
She's like, what the fuck? And I was like, just more. This feels so good. Please sit on my face. Call me Susan. I don't care. Just give me more of this.
Did you relapse after that?
No.
I
haven't done anything since.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, the painkillers they give you.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't get them. I was like, don't give me painkillers.
Right.
And so they just gave me a Novocaine catheter that was in my neck, and it was like in this little red balloon, and I'd squeeze it, and like my face would droop like I was having a stroke, but it would numb this entire part of my body.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. They give the patient control of that. Like, anytime you feel anything, just squeeze that.
Yeah, and it'll make you feel better.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had a problem where I went to a doctor beforehand and scheduled a shoulder surgery. This is when I was still using. And they were like, all right. And they gave me the prescription for the surgery. It was like Ambien, Dilaudid, and hydrocodone. Yeah. And I was like, sweet. And I just filled them, and then I took all the pills and didn't get the surgery.
Fuck, dude. Were you pretty into pills?
Yeah, I love pills. Yeah, pills are great.
Dude.
I love me some pills.
Dude, was that what sent you to read? Because that'll get you.
That got me on the fast
track. That got my
track.
buddy.
Yeah.
You know?
That got me on the fast track for sure. Yeah, 100%. I was taking, because I was a big coke guy and like psychedelics guy in college.
Yeah.
I like shrooms and acid. And I tried the first time I tried to try Molly. It was from like a local guy, like we called them townies.
Yeah, townies, dude. That's what we called.
And I ended up snorting meth, which I didn't like. So I've always, I don't know why, but that just, I thought of that where I was like,
why did you like the meth? A little too tweaky, like little.
It felt like I was snorting glass, and I had chest pains, and I was very like aware of how like crooked things were in the room.
How would you compare a meth high to a coke high?
Edgier.
Edgier.
Yeah, but I don't think I was. I don't know if it was good. I wasn't ever like a real big meth. I mean, I liked Adderall.
Yeah.
And Vyvanse and all that stuff. Help you write a paper in like a 12-page paper in 6 hours.
Yeah.
But I never was a real meth guy. I liked the psychedelics and the weed, and then the coke was nice. The coke was fun. I used to do coke with a 70-year-old man.
Really?
Yeah, I met a 70-year-old man. First acid trip. I saw him at a party.
Dude, I feel like this used to be a book, bro. I feel like you need to write a book about these.
Yeah, Dirty White Boy by Dan
Dirty
Sweeney.
White Yeah.
But I saw him at a party, and I was like,
a 70-year-old?
Yeah, I was like, this is weird.
He
so
was just there.
I went up to him, and I touched him, and he was like, what the fuck? And I was like, are you real? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, sorry, I'm on acid. And then it turns out he was a big drug guy. And he used to hang out with this frat I was in. But he had moved up to the college back in like the 80s.
Yeah.
And he was like 50, quit Wall Street, and like was trying to figure his life out. And then he started just partying with college kids.
Fuck yeah!
So he's
he moved in Charleston when you moved.
This is in upstate New York, Hamilton, New York. Yeah.
Okay.
So this dude, Colgate University,
Wall Street career.
Yeah, made a lot of money.
Yeah,
a lot of money.
And then at 50, he was just like, "What the fuck?
Yeah, what am I doing with my life? I'm gonna go live in the town of my alma mater.
Okay.
And just kind of hang out and have an art collection. And
how did he feel about that decision? Was he
he
enjoying
loved
his
it.
life?
Yeah,
he was loving it
because he was hanging out. I think he kind of fed off the vibes and the energy of like, because by the time I met him, he was like in his late 70s, so he was he enjoyed being around young men on drugs.
Yeah,
he liked that.
Yeah,
and he had like really good coke.
Yeah,
he had chocolate covered mushrooms. He had painkillers because he was on cancer and stuff like that. So he'd just give us drugs and hang out with us.
Yeah, and you gave him your company, and that's all he was looking for.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah, that's interesting. I've been thinking about aging a lot lately. Like, fear of death is one thing, because I have that, but I also have this fear of aging, because I saw this YouTube video recently of these old people getting interviewed, and they were just asking, what is it like to be this age? And this one guy was so bitter about it. He was just like, I'm invisible. Nobody looks at you when you're this, like, you're meaningless, you're irrelevant, and like the importance of like being young and relevant versus, and there were also other older people who were like happy, and I was like, okay, what's true about them? Like they probably were married, or they had family, just a healthier perspective. Like, I'm older, but like I still enjoy my life, but being irrelevant and being like unnoticed, like that's a real,
having no connection. That's, I think, there's one thing. It's nice to like make the decision to be alone. Somebody invites you to go do something, and you're like, "Nah, I'd rather just hang out."
Right.
But nobody invites you to do anything, and then you're just alone, and you don't have the option of being with anybody. I think that is a real kind of tough lot in life to have.
For sure.
I think we need each other to distract ourselves from ourselves. We need like we need to be in the same room. We need to be able to interact with one another, because then it's just this bullshit. Between your ears.
Yeah, for sure. You go insane by yourself.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I it's kind of interesting to me to see what some people do to like maintain relevance. I feel like I see this in all like the billionaire folks, or just the guys that are trying to stay, I don't know. They're trying to like top themselves, it feels like Elon Musk, or like they're just, I don't know. What do you do once you have all the money in the world?
I think it becomes more. I don't think that matters at that point.
It doesn't.
It matters what you can do with that influence. Like what kind of mark? They're in the realm of great. There used to be Alexander the Great and all these.
Actually, they are. They've taken that place.
That's what they are now. Like, how can I sort of modify the world? What do I think? I think this would be best for the world.
Yeah.
How can I kind of stir the necessary facets of society to make that true?
Yeah. You think they feel like they have a personal responsibility to do that because of their...
Yeah. Oh, of course. They got an ego, man.
Yeah.
You got to... I mean, I think a billionaire will be... I don't know if there's a humble billionaire out there.
Yeah.
I mean, they could say they are.
Yeah.
But I think there's something just so intense. There's such a drive. I don't have that.
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of people have that.
Right.
That it's just something so... Yeah, the intensity of that, to want to make something so great. You did it.
Yeah.
Now what can I do with that?
Yeah.
I think it's weird Bill Gates is buying farmland.
Yeah. What do you think's going on with that?
I think it's weird that Elon wants to go to Mars. I mean, it's all very high level, macro level kind of stuff.
It's like, what else can you conquer? I mean, every square inch of the earth has kind of been explored. Well, not the oceans, but
that's interesting.
Yeah.
If I was a billionaire, I'd be like, let's find everything in the ocean.
Yeah.
That would be my thing.
Yeah.
Just be
there's not an ocean guy yet.
No, there's no ocean guy. There's some
Elon's
Mars
got
guy.
Space.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gates got the farm. Yeah.
Yeah, what does your life mean? And I think even, billionaires ask themselves that question.
Yeah.
Much less us proletariats sitting here in our apartments, but I mean, every human asks themselves what is my life?
Yeah, what's the meaning of it? What does
it mean in this realm that we're living in?
Yeah. What do you want out of your life?
I like the thing that I loved about comedy is like, because I bounced around like doing sales, and I did a semester at law school. Like, I kind of bounced around doing a bunch of different things that I thought I was supposed to do that would bring me happiness and security. I remember hanging out with that old man and being like, I want to be like him, where he's just rich and
doing what he wants,
doing coke with, but then it's funny. I realized that he was a really lonely guy.
Right.
He didn't have a family. He didn't have a wife.
Right.
Some people told me he was gay. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just always noticed he sat on a towel because I think his ass was leaking. I don't know. I just always remember that he sat on it every time he sat on a towel. But I remember, like, when I was younger, when I first started hanging out with him, like, this guy's the man. He just likes to party, have a good time. That's what I want to have money and have a good time.
Yeah.
And then I was like, well, I'll go get a job in, like, banking or just make money and then, you know, party and just, you know, figure life out and just, you know, kind of be not like a hedonist in the sense where I just want orgies. And, I mean, that'd be kind of cool, but orgies and coke and all this shit.
Yeah.
But I was like, there's got to be something more. And then I quit drinking and drugging when I was 24. And I was like, I'm trying to figure it all out.
Did you quit for good?
Yeah.
Since then?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So in March, it'll be 8 years.
Fuck yeah. Congrats, man.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
I have CBD water. But
so no drugs anymore at all?
No.
No.
Pills, powders, all that shit.
Yeah.
Gone. CBD. That's like my...
Yeah.
Be cool
but not
with
weed?
It. No.
No. Good for you, man.
Yeah, I like the hemp.
Yeah.
The hemp is like the Delta 8 I tried and I didn't really... I was like, this is a little...
Yeah.
It's a little... I don't know.
Sketch?
I feel... Well, I don't know
like,
if it's...
Like synthetic? Like you could tell it's like...
Yeah, I feel like it's like not natural.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, I have that feeling.
So I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
And also I'm like, well, I don't really want to... The altered consciousness thing is, I think, beautiful if, like, you really need it. Like, I wouldn't be averse to, like, if at some point in my life I need to go on, like, a shroom trip with, like, a shaman to figure out something about my essence. Or
not opposed to that?
No.
Not
I
off
think
the table?
No. I think natural things like just weed and mushrooms,
right.
I'm like, part of me is like, well, God put that there for a reason.
Yeah.
So why not? It's just the abusing thing. You got to, like, I got to watch, like, what's my intent behind the thing to do.
Right.
But in terms of, this is a very long answer to a simple question.
The what you want out of life question. Yeah.
I just want to be a positive influence, not influence, but a positive force or a positive moment in people's lives.
Yes.
And then I always wanted to try stand-up. I never had the balls to do it. I drove out to LA after college and I worked on a movie with a deaf filmmaker. And
what job did you get on the movie?
Dude, it was a small independent movie. Austin Chapman, good man. He's a great filmmaker. Lacrimosa, Lost Boys. Actually, it was interesting. I worked with a guy on that movie named Michael Spady. Okay. Who's this black deaf actor. And he was in the Dahmer series.
Oh, shit,
Remember when they was showing the deaf guy that Dahmer...
I didn't watch it.
Okay. So, spoiler alert, he kills a black deaf guy. And he hangs out with a group of other black deaf guys, and Spady was in it. And I was like, that's Michael Spady. Yeah. I've always thought that was cool.
Yeah.
But it was just a small... So I was like a production assistant. I ended up editing like the rough edit of the film because he can't hear.
Right.
So I'm syncing the sound up for him and stuff like that.
So it was an editing gig.
Yeah, and then I was on scene. I didn't like... I wasn't in it or anything like that. Although I would have loved to. I just didn't have that in my... I was too afraid to put myself out. And I wanted to be a screenwriter, and I didn't do anything like that. But anyway, I dropped out of law school. I was like, I'm going to try an open mic. Yeah. And I did, and it went okay.
At what age was this? This was 20...
This is 27.
Okay.
27? Yeah.
Okay.
2018. So, yeah, 27.
So, first open mic in LA?
No, so first open mic was in, this is right before I moved to Charleston. It was February in Winston-Salem, North Carolina.
Okay.
And then I did one at the Idiot Box?
Idiot Box, yeah, I've been there
Greensboro
once.
in that basement, and I bombed there really bad. I did a joke about, like, how I, like, have to pretend that I don't like having sex with roadkill on dates. It didn't make any sense, but I was like, this might be funny. And
I think that's funny.
Everybody's like, what the fuck? And I was like, oh, all right, well. I remember some lady came up to me, and she was like, you need to, like, have, like, you know, when you're doing, like, sets in front of new people, you need to have, like, your best material. And I was like, I don't have any material. I was like, this is it. This is all I have.
Yeah.
This is my bag of tricks.
Yeah.
I know, it's pretty bad. But then... I remember that feeling of the first time where people like laughed, and I was like, oh, and like the rush of it, and like, well, they laughed, so that's a good thing because you don't laugh all the time.
Right.
If you did, you'd be an insane person.
Yeah.
So it's a rare sort of thing, that relief.
Yeah.
And I wanted to chase that forever.
Yeah.
Until now.
Yeah.
And even now, I mean, you go through these, I think, where you're like, I should grow up, I should get stability, I should commit myself to a career or whatever.
Yeah.
And I shouldn't just keep, because it takes up a big part of your brain and your soul wanting to just keep going out there and do comedy and figuring 100%. It out, you know, is it worth it.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. No, I agree. That's a tough.
But you wrestle with it.
You do. So you thought you wanted to do that forever when you discovered you got that first rush.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
What about you?
I felt similarly.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I was so grateful to like have something that I actually like to do that felt like it was my own thing.
Yeah.
Cuz like I was very much like people pleaser to like try and get the job that like, okay, is that what you wanted me to do? Everybody else like, all right, like you think that's like respected? And I got those things. And then and it was only when COVID happened where I had the balls to do it. And also right around the time I got that back surgery, it was all the same time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was just like, fuck, this sucks. Like I could barely walk and so that was when I did it the first time.
How long have you been doing it?
2.5 years.
Okay.
So still very new to it, but like you're right though, because like to do it, like it takes a huge chunk of time and your brain. Like you think about it all. Like to do it even kind of okay, like you have to do it a lot.
Yeah, it's like a mistress in a sense that you want to just be. That will maybe give you enough. If I keep massaging her feet and licking her ass, maybe she'll love me.
Yeah.
That's what you want from it.
Yeah.
In like the essence of it.
Right. But it's always fleeting. You always got to keep going back. But I actually kind of like the routine part of it though, in a sense. Just because something you do repeatedly is good. It's like working out or something. Like
that's my big and I'm certainly to blame in this. In Charleston is just getting being able to do it.
Yeah.
It was going kind of well before COVID.
Yeah. How is it now? Like mics a week you can hit?
Depending on the week, I think the most you can hit is like 3 or 4.
Okay.
So it's not a whole lot. I mean, it's like Monday, Wednesday at the Sparrow. I think one's opening on Tuesday, so we'll have that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yeah.
I was hosting one. I'm like the king of like ruining rooms.
Really?
Yeah, like I had and I'm not proud of it. I always feel really bad when it happens, but I've had 2 rooms and I kind of like botched both of them.
The hosting room? What'd you do?
Yeah. Well, one the owner like after like the 3rd week was like, you're not bringing like any money in, and I was like, well, this is an outdoor mic and it's like November, so like it's kind of tough, and we kind of just parted ways. I don't know, that might happen again. And then the other one was downtown where the old Bubba Gumps used to be.
Yeah. And
they weren't really giving us a whole lot of support, but there was one. I'll just tell us, it doesn't matter. There was one bit I was telling one night. I was doing a bit about Victoria's Secret. They just hired and
the special needs model?
Yeah, Down syndrome.
Down syndrome.
And I was doing a bit about that, and I'm just trying to figure out what it all means, because Victoria's Secret has always been glitz and tits, and that's what it's been. Yeah. And I remember jerking off to it when I was younger, just because it's sexy women. And now I think that's good that we're sexualizing people with disabilities, but it's also just a different thing that I'm
Did
now
you say you jerked off to the
no. And I guess that makes me a bigot. I don't know what that means. And I was like, I think it's fine to include. I think that's fine. We're just one step closer.
Yeah, you're just
to a Brazzers video titled "Special Olymp Tits" with some lady with Down syndrome, which is fine.
Right.
It's not bad.
Right.
It's fine. It's
Yeah.
just different.
It's just.
And a waitress got upset.
And you laid it out like that.
Yeah, I wasn't slurring them or whatever.
Right.
I was just. I imagine the marketing meeting where it's like, we need new ideas, and some guy's like, I got 2 words, Down syndrome. Like, that's going to be the new thing. Because they didn't put that out there and be like, nobody's going to think anything about this.
No, this was going to...
It was intentional.
This is going to be a story.
And is that exploitive? I don't know. It doesn't matter. But one of the waitresses there, she has a brother with Down syndrome, and she thought that was very in poor taste and complained to the owner.
Oh, I think it's more,
Yeah.
At the executives, what were you guys thinking?
I'm fine with it. I stand by my questioning. I think it's good. I think they should have the same opportunities.
I think so too. It's fine,
but it's just different.
Yeah. So that
Because you used to not be able to get to the Victoria's Secret model when I was growing up because you weren't an athlete, or you weren't rich, and now you can't because their parents won't let you take them out. It's just different. Still the same thing. It's just changed, and it's not bad, but it's just it's a new thing. Everything's new now.
It's all different.
It's just Pluto was a planet when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And it's not anymore.
Right.
But it still is.
But
it's not.
It's still there.
That's everything.
Right. Oh, man.
So who knows?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, dude. Moments, though. I agree with that. I think, yeah. Because everything else I had, like, that goes well, it's just, like, over, you know?
What do you mean?
Like, I don't know. I mean, I was in sales. I still kind of am. I'm a pricing manager now. God, but it's
world can't thrive without him.
Yeah, dude. Very important. I can't even fuck. But so when I was a rep and you were in sales, like you had quotas and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. I was doing so I did life insurance.
Oh,
which
shoot me in the face.
Yeah, can you imagine me being like, you're gonna die? And
I would buy life insurance from you 100%.
Yeah, well, I wish I had sold to you because nobody bought life insurance. And then the first thing they said, they were like, write a policy on yourself so you can kind of like get your book going. So I was like, cool. And I tried to write a policy on myself and I got denied. They were like, we don't want to underwrite. You seem too much of a risk. Yeah, I like explained my history, and then it's weird. The insurance companies have this thing called the MIB, which is the Medical Information Bureau.
Right.
That's pretty much just everybody's information. So they can find out everything about me. They found out the drinking and all the drugs, and so they were like, they're not going to underwrite me. And yeah, it was pretty bad, and nobody ever wanted anything to do. I actually got I got a couple, but the people in the office thought I was like bad luck. They were like, we don't want to ride with you because you're not a good. And I was like, oh, all right, I guess this isn't my thing.
Yeah.
And then before that, it was for some company in New York called ZocDoc.
What was that selling?
It's an app. So you'd be calling doctors. It's an app, and it's kind of like free promotion. It's a good app.
Yeah.
You like say you come to Charleston. And you're like, my dick hurts, and I don't know why.
Right.
You plug in your information and your like insurance information, and then it'll set you up with a urologist.
Okay.
Who takes your insurance and will then see you.
Okay.
So wherever you are, you find out a doctor who will take
it's like
your
a dating
plan.
app for doctors.
Yeah.
Kinda.
100%.
Yeah. Based on location and places.
And doctors are paying to get more
beyond
patients.
The exchange. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Which I'm not saying you get bad doctors, but a doctor's
you can get bad doctors.
Oh
dude.
yeah. Dr. Payne to have patients. He's like, I don't see enough people.
Yeah.
And I'm like, is that for a reason? Or?
Yeah.
I don't know.
For sure, dude.
You want to trust doctors, but there's some squirrely ones out there.
Yeah, dude, there's definitely bad doctors out there. But yeah, dude, so sales, yeah. So like my form of like, I got to achieve this thing. Our annual quotas, it was medical equipment sales. So it's like obnoxiously intense about that. And
does it stress you out?
Oh, fuck yeah, dude. It was
do you get a thrill from closing a sale?
Yeah, the biggest thrills were like December when you're like way behind and you're like begging every hospital administrator, like, please, dude, I need that. Like you turn into such a bitch to get those orders.
Yeah.
You're just like,
have you like
you're just like sheepishly supporting them all year, and you're like, dude, I actually have to like.
Yeah, I need something.
Yeah. And it's cool because usually it's like some nurse, like just this sweet like nurse who got promoted to director at one of these hospitals, and they're like, okay, I'll help you. And it's like,
thank you, Flo.
Yeah, thank you. So, but I built those quotas up in my head so much because I don't know. The culture's very unhealthy in hindsight because they'll fire you if you don't make your numbers and stuff, and that's common, I guess.
Yeah, it's real cutthroat.
Yeah. So I'd hit the quota, and then in January I like couldn't get out of bed. I'd be like, fuck, like I don't care about what I just did. Like it was a huge rush, but then it went away very quickly, and I was just like, well, what the fuck? And then I'd hit a few of them.
Yeah.
And I had money saved up. And I got a place. I got a condo in Atlanta. And this was the time when I was like big into like partying and coke and stuff.
Nice.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. So I was just like
the life.
Yeah, the life. And in a certain, it was weird because like
I would have done coke with you.
Certain I
would have had a good time.
Oh, dude, no, I would have been
a
fucking liability, bro.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was that guy. I would have been on the dance floor, just like
good for you.
The bouncer keeping an eye on that guy, just chugging waters, like.
Sweating profusely. Yeah. There's a little coke on your mustache still. Yeah.
For sure. And I'd be getting a bunch while sharing it.
Yeah.
But nobody's actually fucking with me though, because it's like,
yeah,
it was rough. But anyway, so yeah, it wasn't until like I was just like, well, this is kind of what life is. Like, this is,
yeah,
but still very restless. And it wasn't until comedy where it was like, this is cool just for this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't care what happens with this. I don't care if this goes anywhere. And
but you want it in your life.
Oh, 100%.
And you want to get better at it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. You want to do well, and like you can feel like little progress as it happens.
Yeah.
And it's just like, any idea could be something. So yeah, got a real kick out of it. That was the first thing where I was like, I'm off a treadmill of trying to like get to another rung on something.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'd really been, because everything before that was all about achievement. I was such a, like, I got to get straight A. I was such a little
type A guy.
Type A. Yeah. Yeah. So this is something where it wasn't, I don't know. It felt like I wasn't saying what somebody else wanted me to say. I was saying what I actually wanted to say. And if that resonated, I was like, okay, this is like validating in like a way that is pretty cool.
That's one of the most difficult things that I've found in my life is finding worth from my own self.
Yeah.
Not based on...
Do you have a low self-image, or do you have a...
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, who doesn't?
Yeah.
People who do. People who, like, I think don't, and they come across very whatever.
Yeah.
I think it's rare. I think that's why there's all these self-help gurus and people don't give a fuck what other people... And people write books about it. It's because most people struggle with it. And people who are super... you meet those people who are, like, real up there and real gregarious and flashy. I think that's a compensation for it. Just like as going on stage.
I don't think that's their real
No, I don't think that's
vibe.
their real persona at all.
Yeah.
And then that's why going on stage and doing that is brought some different worth, a worth that I find very valuable to me.
Yeah.
Not based in things I was like taught or...
Yeah.
But then you get caught up in I want to be this and I want to be that. But
yeah, how do you feel? How do you feel about that? Like, do you want to be famous? Do you want to be?
No, I don't. Yeah, but no, I don't. I mean, I don't. The thing that I want
is such a weird question, isn't it?
Well, yeah, of course.
Because you want to do well at it, that logically would lead to more people seeing it, and then be at a place.
Yeah, I think I would like it to where enough people find me entertaining enough.
Yeah.
That they want to listen to me.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
And then I guess obviously you monetize that and you can support yourself.
Right.
But in terms of
perfect.
I want to be I'd like to be the best version of me, and then people like that and they get joy out of that.
For sure.
And whatever form that appears, I mean, whatever.
Yeah.
I can't really qualify that or say how that will look.
Yeah.
But I think that would bring me, I don't know, I don't think it'd bring me peace, but it'd bring me some sense of accomplishment that I've now realized is important to me.
Yeah.
But it can't be my whole life.
For sure.
But it's an important part of my life, but it's not everything,
Yeah, 100%. I think that's a perfect outlook.
But when I watch like a documentary on like Tiger Woods, like I love Tiger.
Yeah.
And like I would just be like thinking, I'd be like, man, it'd be so cool to just win the golf tournament and then just bang a Perkins waitress and then go to Vegas and hang out with Michael Jordan and Charles Barkley.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I'm thinking that'd be amazing. And then
to be the comedy version of that.
Well, but then you just get older and you're like, that's like a really awesome sensory experience.
For sure.
But that's not the whole thing of it all.
No, it's not. And you kind of see the
soul.
people that hit the top and you see the way down, and it's like nobody can sustain it anyway.
Well, it's like you hear like a rock star and they're like, I did all the drugs, I had sex with all the groupies, and it's not everything in life. And part of me goes, wow, it's amazing. But
you got to do it, bro.
You got to do all of those things.
Yeah. Let me do it and then make the decision. And
I'd like to learn that lesson every day.
Right.
But I'm not that guy, so it's weird just figuring out worth outside of all like the outside stuff. I think that's what monks do. That's what everybody does. It's finding that peace, because I think that's where it comes from, is once you feel like you're enough, then you're just like, I'm okay.
You're enough.
I want to be
You're enough,
okay.
Dan.
Oh, thanks.
You're
dude.
enough, dude.
You are too, buddy.
I appreciate it, dude.
Yeah.
You ever been to therapy?
Yeah.
Yeah? Still or no?
No.
No?
No, not because I'm better than or anything.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't need that shit anymore.
Yeah, I think so. Well, I remember the the last person I kind of like went to fucked me up a little bit.
Yeah.
And not in like a bad way, but I was just like, she was kind of like a kooky, kind of out there personality, and believed in aliens and stuff like that. And I have this like birthmark on my wrist, like a little birthmark. It's nothing crazy. And she looked down at my wrist and she was like, oh. She's like, well, in a past life, this could have meant that you were a gladiator. And I was like, oh. And she's like, or you killed yourself. And I'm like, what?
She sounds great.
Because I'm not, I hope she's fine. But
most therapists don't give you anything to go on. You're like, wow, I got a lot to think about.
That always kind of messed me up a little bit just because, I think I've heard the thing where it's like when you're dying, you go and see the light, and that light is just you actually being born into your new form. And there's deja vu. There's so many strange little things in life where I understand why people have come up with the different theories to explain them.
Yeah.
And so with her saying like I killed myself in the past, I was like, was I just like a broke cobbler somewhere in the mountains, and I just like, I can't make shoes anymore, and just slit my wrists. And, I don't know. It always kind of weirded me out.
Yeah, man. I started doing I went through there were no therapists in the upstate. I got a guy on BetterHelp.
Oh,
Terry. He's like a 44-year-old black dude, super chill.
Yeah,
he's in his second marriage. He's like got his shit figured out, and I talk to him on the phone every once in a while. I haven't talked to him in a couple months, but
that sounds like a good guy to get.
He's
perspective from.
For sure. He's super chill. He doesn't have an like heavy-handed opinion on any direction, but he does have kind of his framework of schooling to give you some practical stuff.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, man, that self-worth thing, I think a lot of people, because that was the theme he brought up earlier. He's like, dude, your self-esteem shit. I was like, it is? What the fuck? Like, yeah, just based on, I was like, oh, I guess it is. But
it's I mean, come on. I mean, everybody wants to feel good.
Yeah.
That's why they made antidepressants and all that. I mean, you just want to, as a human, it's tough. You just want to feel good. You want to feel okay in a inhospitable world.
Yeah. It's weird, too. Like, how much of it is just normal, like, consciousness?
Yeah.
Like just being a human and being self-aware of like your own mortality.
Oh, that's terrifying.
Like, nobody really needs a precondition for depression, I guess, if you really look at the predicament we're in.
I remember reading this thing that really, it always kind of blew my mind. It was, I think it was during the Rwandan genocide, right?
Oh, okay.
And it was this, this was like an article that would been written. It was like, where are they now? kind of deal. And it was a soldier, a guy who had been part of it, and then a woman whose arm he had cut off. And they're sitting together, and they're friends now.
What?
And I was just like, I don't know shit about fuck about life.
Yeah.
Because you think you do, and then you read that, and you go, whoa.
Yeah.
And I've thought about a lot of the people like who I consider like good friends that I kind of grew up. They're people I didn't like at first. Like it was either something that was reflected that I didn't like about them that was reflected in me, or what, and then something brought us together where you're like, oh, I actually really like the good deep friendships have all started off with people I didn't really like.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I always found that kind of interesting. And just the depth of,
for sure. None of them cut your arm off though.
Like, and she's like, yeah, like.
I understand.
He took something from me, and he feels terrible. He's not like, yeah, you deserve it. And she's like, she came around.
It's like, my bad.
Yeah, like it's like, and and he watches out for her, and he feels terrible, and she's forgiven him, and that's just, you're like, whoa.
Yeah, dude.
What is that?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Yeah, that's kind of what life's
happen?
About.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That conventional sanity doesn't apply to that.
Right.
Because if you cut my arm off,
it
would take me a while, and I don't know if I could forgive you.
Yeah.
Or like if like I always wonder if like, because I have kind of a morbid mind, I guess.
Yeah.
You ever wonder about like people you love getting killed in like an accident or something like that, and how you'd react, and my immediate thing is like justified anger, and I haven't gotten to the point where I'm like, and then I forgive them, and we become friends, and we have picnics, and we discuss life, because you took something I loved immeasurably in this world, but now you've taught me about what it means to be a human.
How long do you think you'd hold on to it? Years?
Yeah, man. I mean, I've watched those documentaries where like, you see parents who've lost kids to like heroin, and then they know the drug dealer, and just how they hate the drug dealer, and the drug dealer's still out there, like, eating cheeseburgers, and getting their dick sucked, and as a parent, you brought that child in, and it just gave your life so much meaning, and
and they took that.
And they took that from you.
Yeah.
Like, how could you ever? I think it needs to be a two-way street where it's like that person's like, hey, I'm sorry I sold your kid fentanyl, or I'm really, really sorry, and then you build from that. But life is so complex.
Yeah.
And it's only going to get crazier.
It's like more painful to hold on to that weight than and it's just fucking with you more than it is.
Well, it's in that, like, the St. Francis prayer. They said it is in forgiving that we are forgiven.
Yes.
To understand rather than be understood.
Are you Catholic?
I was raised Catholic.
Raised Catholic?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do you feel about it now?
I mean, I remember in high school, like, all that stuff was coming out, which was a bit jarring.
Oh, the stuff.
Yeah, where they were fucking children. And I was like, huh. It wasn't like they were gambling on horses or something like that. Like, it was pretty.
It wasn't like Pete Rose betting on baseball.
Yeah, and that's sort of a thing where, because I always kind of believed, I was like, am I bad? You know, when you're born Catholic, it's original sin. So I just came out of my mother guilty of something.
Yeah, dude.
And so
that's a rough one, man.
And so you just kind of internalize that. And then I remember being like, this guy's telling me. I mean, the priest at our congregation, I don't know, jury's out, I guess.
Yeah.
That's the thing. You can't really trust a priest, which is sad. But
no signs of bad.
But I was like, this guy, like, he's telling me how to, and he's got buddies who are. I was like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
So why do I have to listen to this? Yeah. And that led into the whole.
You were in high school when the stories were coming out.
Yeah, and that led into all the. I think there had always been the stories, but that's when, like, the Globe came out with the.
Oh yeah.
And I remember having discussions with my parents about it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they were like, well, yeah. It was interesting. It's interesting seeing them not explaining away the behavior, but explaining.
No, but that's all you can do as a parent. Like, well, I mean, some bad
some things happen.
Yeah.
You know?
That's life.
You think God wants that to happen? And that's the thing that they were trying to instill was that God wasn't doing that. But his.
Right, of course. And I mean, that's,
his creepy servants were.
It probably should be I mean, if you're still a devout Catholic and everything,
I mean, what's that saying?
There's
it's like religion is sitting in church and thinking about being in a canoe, and spirituality is like burying your face in a hooker's ass and thinking about God. It's something like that. I think, no, it's a canoe. Spirituality is sitting in a canoe thinking about God. That's what it is. And so I've always kind of...
Wait.
Religion is...
Burying your face in a hooker's ass and thinking about God? That's religion?
I guess if you're a priest, yeah. Except not a hooker. But, no, religion's the thing where you're, like, in church and you're thinking about life and the experience in God's earth. And then its spirituality is being in that earth, like being near a tree and being like, God is the architect of this.
Yeah.
And I kind of like that.
Yeah.
That was one thing I gleaned from my mushroom experiences.
Right.
I love it.
Do you enjoy, like, being in nature now? You like hiking and being out?
Hiking kind of scares me because of bears.
Right.
I'm terrified of bears.
I've seen a bear once in the woods.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
terrifying.
I would go with my fiance, and she's got a vagina, and she bleeds. So that kind of,
So periods attract bears? Is that...
Apparently. I learned that when I was 14 from Anchorman.
Yeah, me too.
And it's kind of just stuck. It's like one of those things you learn where you're like, that checks out.
Yeah.
And comedy comes from truth, and that seems like it's... But I like kayaking. We go kayaking around here a lot.
Back here?
Yeah.
Oh, shit, yeah.
But if I went hiking, I'd want to bring a gun.
Okay.
Because I'm a little...
Yeah.
If there's a bear, they're like, clap sticks and get real big. And it's like, I'd just rather have a gun.
Yeah. Dude, I'm bad about nature. I don't...
You don't fuck with it?
I mean, it's just not my first choice. Like, I'll go if people are going.
What is your first choice?
Oh. God. Right now, I'm either... in front of my computer at Standup or going out on the town and doing karaoke.
Nice.
And hanging with friends. But
Hollow Orchestra.
or a good sports game. Like a good NFL matchup. Yeah. Well, Super Bowl today. That'll be good. But dude, I don't know where that came from. Maybe just being
Sunday.
What's that?
Super Bowl Sunday.
It is Super Bowl Sunday.
Highest instance of domestic abuse.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
People, I think a lot of men lose money.
Yeah.
And they get upset.
Yeah.
So don't do that.
They just throw their TVs at their wives.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, what is my first choice? My life is really that fucking...
Well, you don't need to know.
Yeah.
I think that's part of it's like one of those things where it's like, I always wanted to have like I want to know the destination.
Yeah.
That's why I like jerking off, because I know where I'm going to end up.
Yeah.
I'm here.
Right.
It's not and that's the difference between dating. Like I'm getting married.
Yeah.
And stuff. I'm on a journey with this person.
Right.
The destination is death. How about plane crash?
Wait, so did that make
know.
it easier for you? Like knowing the destination is death? I can go through this engagement. Like it's
Well, it was also just like I found the person,
right,
who I was also friends with beforehand. So
Yeah.
it was a level of obviously the physical attraction, but prior to that, I was just attracted to that person's like personality, their
Yeah.
energy. Like
yeah,
I was like, I met her at an open mic.
tight. Okay,
And she was smoking a Virginia Slim, and she had glasses.
Yeah.
Beautiful Polish
Oh,
curly
this is
hair.
beautiful.
I loved it. And I was like, she's real. And she was dating someone else.
So I remember we talked about this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you were just like kind of attracted to her and like
But
did you even give yourself permission to think I
No.
want to date this person right away, or were you just like she's cool as shit?
I
and,
acknowledged, I was like, I would like to date her. I was also in like kind of a weird point in my life where I'd quit drinking. I was always kind of and dating sober is a thing that terrified me.
Dude, me too.
So
I'm there right now.
Just being
This is helpful.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, you'll be fine. I think
Yeah.
it makes you a better person overall. And conquering the fear or
Yeah.
whatever, that's just always going to be there. So accepting it,
Yeah.
and moving with it.
What was your fear when you dated sober for the first time?
Oh, well, just not being. I would take all the things I used to drown out, like with booze or whatever. Those are there. They're right at the table with you,
Yeah.
and they don't see them. They just see you, but
Yeah.
you have all this stuff in your brain. You're
Yeah.
like, I'm not good enough.
Yeah.
I come too quick.
Yeah.
My balls are weird. Like all these things that you think
Yeah.
about yourself because you've spent your entire life with you.
Yeah.
And that always, I couldn't get rid of that.
Right.
So then I was just like, yeah, you just kind of become more you. You're just
Yeah.
like, this is who I am. Like,
For sure.
and with her, I mean, I wasn't dating. We both were kind of dating people we didn't really like prior
Yeah.
to getting together.
I
So it's not like
gotcha.
I was doing well
Right.
or anything. I was like, yeah, I'll settle with this, and
Yeah.
I'm not happy, and maybe this is what it is. And
Yeah. Maybe
then-
maybe that's
but then I met her, and I was like, oh, this is what it is.
right.
And that was it was a different thing.
Yeah.
But dating sober is
Yeah, that's
it's a
the
tough
thing.
proposition.
Yeah, it's been the same amount of time, 2.5 years being sober and dating, and you're right, dude. I found that like before that, alcohol was such a lubricant in the dating world. Like even if
Yeah.
you're not getting shit faced, like
Yeah.
it takes away
Oh, a lot.
a ton of inhibitions.
That's why people drink.
No, I know, dude. I think the rate of people in relationships and married is a big like alcohol is a big
Oh yeah, for sure.
variable in helping increase the skids on
Yeah,
that.
and then the more miserable it gets, you just go in the, you drink
Yeah.
alone somewhere, like in a closet or in the garage.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it definitely, and that's scary. I mean, I've told this to her. I'm like, what if we just like hate each other? Like,
Yeah.
what if that happens?
Yeah.
Isn't that scary? And she's like, yeah. She's
I don't know.
like,
I think the fact you asked that question is a good sign, though.
well, yeah. I mean, you got to.
Yeah.
And I obviously like I'm not perfect. And
Right.
She's not perfect. So we obviously like we have disagreements about things.
Yeah.
The nice part is like my dad called them heavy, deep, and reels, where you just gotta have like a deep conversation with this person. Be like, look,
Heavy, deep, and reels.
and just be like when I met her, I was
How
like,
often do you have a heavy, deep, and reel?
way more in the beginning.
Okay.
Now we're planning for like a wedding and shit. which
Yeah,
is
you guys
just,
are-
like, and she's
That's
doing,
cool. It's cool to be in that
She's doing
place.
most of it,
Right,
'Cause
right,
I
I'm sure.
don't. Because
Yeah.
that's her also her personality. She'll assume responsibility
Yeah.
because she's a responsible person,
Right.
and I don't.
Right.
But I'm just like, you're doing great.
You're
and
doing
I'm
great.
like, you want to do this podcast?
Yeah,
and she's
dude.
like, what the fuck? Like, we have a wedding. I'm like, but we could do the podcast.
Yeah, that's sweet.
I'm trying to start a podcast with my fiance.
Dude, it's going to be
And
great. You need
thank
to, yeah. Have you published those 2 episodes yet?
Yeah, Coots and Pen.
Coots and Pens?
COOTS, and then the and sign, and then PEN. It's cooter and penis.
Okay.
So Coots and Pen.
And where's that on?
Apple
Spotify?
and Spotify.
Apple and
We're gonna make them
Spotify.
fight for it.
Dude, check it out. I
Yeah.
guarantee you. Yeah.
I appreciate that.
We'll cue that up on the way home.
But yeah, the sober sex thing was new too,
Yeah.
because that's the most intimate. What place I went to college, it was like a hookup culture.
For sure.
She's like, yeah, I go fuck. I don't give a shit. Like, whatever. Like, I don't have feelings. She wants me.
Yeah.
And I'm a dude, and like,
Why wouldn't she? Yeah.
yeah, like I'm the fucking man. I fuck good, and like everybody loves me. And then that wasn't who I'm not that guy. Like I actually kind of care
Right.
about who I'm entering,
Yeah.
because that's a really that's an intense thing.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, just looking at their face and they're looking at you, and you're just like, "Is this good?" And doing that sober is a whole new. That was a thing I had to get over.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a scary thing.
Sober
too.
sex, yeah.
Yeah, it's
more enjoyable.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
and I perform better because when I was on coke and shit, it was like stuffing a sock through a keyhole half the time. Like it was
100%.
I'm like, it'll work eventually, and I'm just punching it and I can't feel it. Like, it's like now, and I know it's like she's passed the nut test. You know the nut test, where it's like you nut
and then you still like her,
and I'm like, she's here, and I'll cuddle with her. And, I like that.
Yeah.
That was an important thing when I first got with her. I was like, I hope she passes this.
Yeah,
because that's I think that's a ancient thing in the evolution of male balls.
Yeah,
is how are my balls like once they're emptied,
right?
And then the clear vision comes in.
Yeah, am I
going to be okay with this?
Right.
And I don't want her to leave. I want to be close to her.
Yeah.
Which is different.
Yeah. So was it pretty rough getting through that initial fear thing with her?
With the sex or with just all of it?
Yeah, kind of all of it, or before the sex, I guess.
Yeah, I mean,
holy shit, she's awesome. She's actually into me.
Yeah.
I'm accepting that she's into me, and I'm gonna continue on.
Yeah,
because that's kind of what fucks with me now. It's like dating in the early phase is fine,
and I don't want to screw it up.
I kind of have this sense that if I take a step farther, this could lead to something, and that fucking terrifies me.
Yeah,
but I'm still kind of
What scares you about that though? Is it you? Do you think you're gonna waste your time on this person? Like, is that the thing
her time or mine, or
do you really care about her time? I mean,
no, not really.
Yeah, it's more your time. You know, you can write off her time, be like, she was this, she was that.
You're probably right. Yeah, it's more about my time. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a scary thing. Am I wasting my time with this person? Because time's the most valuable asset. But
yeah, your fiance's beautiful. Do you ever wonder, is she hot enough? Not her, but in general.
Oh,
in terms you have that in dating,
Oh yeah, I had that thought. I'm like, is she am I gonna be embarrassed to be seen in public with this person, or
is she smart enough? Is she?
Yeah.
Is she?
Of course.
Which is such a weird way to window shop. It's not even as I'm saying it. It's
it was funny because when I was first meeting her and hanging out with her on just a platonic friendship, it was interesting because I would see her on Fridays. That's when she wasn't at work or whatever, and I wasn't dating her or anything, and I wasn't planning on, because she was taken, and I never want to be the guy who ruins someone relation. I'm not that guy.
Yeah.
That's not what I want to do.
Right.
But I would look forward to seeing her.
Yeah.
I just did.
Yeah.
And I wasn't, prior to other relationships, I was like, yeah, is she this? Is she that? And you kind of judge them.
Yeah, the criteria thing. Yeah.
And I'm also, but at the same time, also you judge yourself. You're like, am I better than them, or am I worse than them?
Yeah.
Or am I reaching? Am I settling? And with her, no.
There was none of those thoughts.
If there were, I was like, yeah,
they're silly
just
thoughts.
Well, it was just, they also weren't important to me. The thing that was important, and that was sort of it's a juvenile thing, is or it's not, I don't know. I mean, there's 40-year-old bachelors, and who knows. But it wasn't important. The thing I wanted to do was spend more time with her, get to know her, make her life better, have her be a part of my life, grow with her.
Yeah.
And that, those are real moments. They're scary moments. I remember the first time I told her I loved her, I was terrified.
Yeah.
I was like, am I coming on too strong? It was because it was early on in it.
Yeah.
And I was like, I really kind of feel I felt strongly about, I just wanted to it was I wanted to be around, I wanted to be in her world. I was also homeless. I was living in my truck, so I needed a place to stay.
Yeah.
But that wasn't the thing to it was weird because I was like, I definitely needed her.
Yeah.
But I also I wanted to be with her.
Right.
Because you can just, fuck off and use someone for however many months and then be like, oh, I found a place to live or whatever.
Yeah.
But we ended up moving in together. COVID happened.
Yeah.
And we looked at each other. I remember being the lockdown. I was like, I guess we'll see if this works, because it's about to get real weird.
Yeah.
And it just got better.
Right. No, that's great, man. Yeah, you just took the focus off yourself. That's all.
Yeah.
Not that it ever was.
It always is, and it isn't.
Yeah.
You're important and you're not important.
Yeah.
That's that thing. Nobody gives a shit about your life. but you think that everybody does, or that you think that they think this about you, and and it's that fine balance of not giving a shit and giving a shit.
Yeah,
because you could just be homeless,
right?
And nobody gives a shit about you,
right.
Really.
It's that yeah, for sure.
I don't know.
This has been very helpful, Dan.
Oh, has it?
Oh yeah, dude.
Really?
That's the whole reason I do this, is just to get advice from wiser people.
Oh, I'm not wise.
Yeah, you are, bro.
No.
Yeah.
I appreciate that, though.
Yeah.
This has been, it's been really nice.
It's been good, man.
I love this podcast. I love what you're doing.
Dude, I appreciate you saying that, man.
I've called you.
I know.
And I was like, hey, how do you do this?
Oh, it's, yeah,
it's a lot of you
I appreciated the call. There's like...
alone in a room, just... figuring it out, and you're wanting to make something for people to enjoy. Yeah. Alone in a car, at work.
Yeah. It's just something to listen to. But
it's a good thing.
Yeah, man.
God bless you, David Bakker.
God bless you, Dan, sweetie. I wanna hear your shit. I can't remember what this was. The Miss Piggy thing that you did.
Oh yeah,
that was a iteration of a different podcast you did, right? That was a while back.
Yeah, the Sweeney show.
The Sweeney show, which was fantastic.
Yeah, it was like 25 minutes. I'd talk about a U.S. president, and then I'd try to do these.
You actually have structure to your show, by the way, which this has none of.
Well, I enjoy having this conversation.
Yeah.
Well, it's an ego trip a little bit because you're making me feel important.
You are important. Well, you're.
So and that feels good.
Yeah.
And that the fact that somebody like you who does great things, you're doing comedy, you're doing well, and then you're also doing a podcast, which is doing well, and then would want to come. I mean, that's great.
Yeah.
But yeah, Miss Pig, I would have these weird ideas. One of them was this guy who wants to catch his wife having an affair with their pool boy. Because they don't have a pool, so why does he have a pool boy?
Yeah.
And so he's going to fake a stroke with his wife and then have this doctor diagnose and then just sit like a vegetable. And I played this whole thing out and then catch...
He's going to sit like a vegetable, just watch what happens and see if she fucks in front of him?
Yeah. And then he actually has a stroke, but she read his diary, so she doesn't help them. Right. And then she drives to... It was dumb. Anyway. That was one of them. And then the other one was Kermit being interviewed by the cops because he was a big drug addict. And he killed Miss Piggy because she used to beat him mercilessly when she was on cocaine.
Who played the different parts? Did you do all the voices?
I did, yeah. I did the two cops. It was like Tony Donuts and Detective Smiley. And then I did Kermit the Frog.
Dude, this is fucking great.
Hey, old Kermit the Frog here. And I was talking about like how I'm going to rope some tadpoles all over your wife's face. Kermit jizz on the wife. Like just talking shit to the cops. And because I'm in a room by myself.
Yeah.
And my fiance, that's how I also know I love her. She's like, that's good for you. You're just pretending to be Kermit on getting interviewed by police. You're not
fiance
insane.
Do what he loves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to, that's the best part in meeting someone.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that, you're a handsome dude. You're tall. You're charismatic.
Yes, everybody says, yeah.
But I'm sure you'll, but then there's that dark part of David, that vulnerable part of David that you probably... You want to shield up and just be like, that's not but that's who you really are.
Yeah.
And then once you show that to someone and they just love you for it.
Yeah.
That's
showing who you really are.
Yeah.
That's the part that trips you out.
The thing that you're probably, you hope is they're attractive enough for that.
Yeah. Dude, yeah. The vanity, bro. I have that.
You're looking at the person all the time. You don't want to,
Yeah, she doesn't have to be.
I remember there was a lunch lady. We used to call her the Gremlin. She had chin hairs and everything like that, but she was a really sweet lady.
Yeah,
but she had that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, personality-wise,
she was so
amazing. Make you feel
You'd marry
safe
her?
and no,
but she was a gremlin.
I would not.
Yeah,
not marry her.
Not marry a gremlin.
But she had a great personality.
Right.
Like a rich personality of an ugly person who had to figure out how to make it in this world.
Right.
As a lunch
she
lady.
Had to dig deep and find.
And just find it in her heart to be nice to more attractive people, serving them food every day.
Yeah.
And she discovered that secret that I don't have.
Noble. Yeah.
But I could never... You know what I mean? There's a vanity in everything.
Yeah.
It's the aesthetics. It's some people like I love furniture.
Yeah. Well, speaking of noble professions.
Yeah. I'm a carpenter.
He's a carpenter.
Lord's work.
Dude, yeah.
I made that chair back there.
Yeah, you can see that.
Yeah. Love a good chair.
Yeah, dude. And you love doing that during the day. Is that your primary?
That's my
vocation.
Job. Yeah,
that is.
I build cabinets and residential elevators.
Dude, that's so great, man.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I like the whoosh of a table saw.
Dude, you have your whole life. Like this is you're set, dude.
Well, I thought I wanted to find something. I was like building things. You want to find something that you can do even when there's that retirement age or whatever.
Yeah,
I want to do something that I would do even when I retire.
Yeah.
Also, I don't make a whole lot of money, so I'll probably never retire, but I could keep.
But it's okay if you
doing that. Yeah.
Right.
I love the smell of like cherry wood. It smells kind of like pie when you're milling it up. It's just.
I mean, you contrast that to the 70-year-old Wall Street broker. Like you're in a much better spot because he made money but probably hated the job.
Yeah, but there's hookers and cocaine, so there's that part.
There is,
and that part is alive in me,
right?
In terms of the addiction. So it's the wrestling of the being the peaceful man, one with nature, and then the ego guy who wants the
stand-up.
Yeah, well, not the. Yeah, I mean that's how it's manifested is and you got to check the
ego on the stand-up.
Oh, for sure, because there's times I remember like I did my first whatever. Paid gig or whatever. And I was like, I got this shit. And then you see, like, I got to open for Sam Talent. And, and I've seen Sean Patton and Sean Finnerty and Monroe Martin. And you see these guys and you go, I don't know shit about anything.
Yeah.
Like, there's just so many levels. But then that's the nice thing about life is if you find something you love, you're just like, I want to keep doing it.
Yeah.
And you be humble before it. Because I'm 32.
Yeah.
I'm not doing anything special with my life,
Yeah.
So do I want to be the 50-year-old idiot?
Yeah.
Who's maybe all of a sudden going to get a break?
Yeah.
That's something I got to think. I mean.
Yeah. How do you wrestle with that? Like, at what point does stand-up become pathetic? Where you're like, well, it hasn't happened, but I'm still doing it and still visibly making shit. I almost wonder if it's like better to be a little more obscure if you're still going to do it.
Well, what's the intention behind the act? So if my intention is still the purity of it is to like want to just make people laugh, which I don't think I'll ever get over.
Yeah.
I think that's where I want to be, where I've shed those. This is what I think I deserve because of this.
Yeah.
And you got like let it go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had that thought. I've told Katie about it. It's like we start having a family or like, what am I going to do? Am I going to take away time from helping with her and the child? Or am I going to go do stand-up or am I going to be here?
Yeah.
Am I going to shed? You have to shed part of yourself one way or another.
Yeah.
And that's a tough question. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you could get to a point where you could do it a few nights a week and just have fun with it if you got something you want to do. And
for sure.
And
but will I be enough then? I mean, don't you wonder that?
I absolutely wonder that, especially because I am, still. It's like this like tipping point of like, where do I want to go? Like, try and do stand up and just actually commit to doing that, or do I want to like settle down and just compartmentalize it as something I do, but not the whole thing.
Yeah.
A
hobby.
Yeah, a hobby. Absolutely.
That's a painful hobby to have.
It's absolutely a painful hobby to have.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That's life. It's a 4-letter word.
It's not bad to be like, I picture you, showing up at the mic. Whenever Dan shows up, it's like, oh shit, here's some shit that's going to be like great. And you know, but you're not there all the time, or you just,
and that would be sad. That would bum me out.
Really?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean,
I want to be the.
I've run that problem set in my head where, because it's like anything in life. It's like, what if I lose this because of this? How will I retain something like my semblance of sanity or my personality? Or
do you feel like stand up helps your sanity?
Yeah, for sure.
Me too. 100%.
It's like, because the world's really fucked up, and if I can take little bits of it and try and like. Throw it out there, and then people respond positively to that. I'm like, oh, I've taken something that's messing with me, and I've thrown it, and they liked it.
Yeah.
But if I can't do that, how are things funny anymore?
Right.
What am I doing, bits for my wife and baby?
Yeah.
And, she doesn't. She lives with me, so like sometimes it's funny, and sometimes she's like, just shut up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
trying to do something to get the reaction or whatever.
Yeah.
Because it's that interaction.
It's the interaction.
You need that thing. You need to interact with the people.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's just you're talking in a room by yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I don't think it's going anywhere. I think I'll do it forever in some capacity.
Yeah, I wonder how it'll change with the future and, digital stuff. And
yeah, it kind of feels like everything's getting more and more decentralized anyway.
How do things evolve?
Yeah.
I think live performances will become this rare thing because every generation... Like if you think of like Bill Burr,
like
when he was starting and I was in school. I was coming up in a different generation, and now he's an old man, and I'm a man.
Mm-hmm.
And then if now I'm older.
Mm-hmm.
How is the generation that how are they different than what I am?
Yeah.
In terms of like, do people still like live performances? How do they consume content?
Yeah.
I mean, this is a new thing where, you start off, you're 2.5 years in, you're like, I need a show.
Yeah.
I need to start my own show. That wasn't a thing. So how does that evolve, or does it devolve, or does it become more centralized or decentralized?
Yeah.
Like, it's interesting with the Rogan thing.
Mm-hmm.
Start picking teams. Like, all of a sudden there's these I'm going to Apple. I'm going to Spotify. I'm going to this. I'm going to that. And then you have these little like farm teams and stuff.
For sure.
It's fascinating.
Yeah, it is.
I try to wear life like a loose garment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I try to not control it. It's because it's easy.
Yeah.
It's easy to think that you can hold on to it and you can't.
Yeah, I agree. I just, as long as there's still like a vehicle to get it out somehow, that's what I feel like I kind of need a way to like make something that like people who care to see it want to see it.
Yeah.
I just I would just love to not have to have a corporate day job. That's the thing that a job that you actually enjoy during the day.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's not bad.
No,
like, it's a good job. I'm just like, dude, I don't.
No, that's not who you are. It's not what you want to be. It's not what you want to dedicate your time to.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
So
that's the balance, the fickle nature of the beast.
It's a fickle, life's just a fickle beast. Yeah. But I got to pick up my friend here in a little bit.
Man. I'm sorry if I held you too long.
No, dude, this is great.
I've enjoyed the conversation.
Yeah, me
immensely.
too. I'm trying to think of anything we haven't covered yet. What do you think happens when you die?
I don't know. I remember Norm. Remember what we were I think we talked about Norm once. We were texting about it. And Norm was talking about how, and I've seen this where I've looked at pictures of my parents before I was born, and I wasn't there. I was in my dad's balls at the time.
Okay, continue.
And he was talking about a philosopher who saw this, and then he got relief because he didn't know that he wasn't there. And so I think that it might be, and that's the full circle of it.
Yeah.
Now, what happens in terms of like, is there reincarnation?
Yeah.
Do I all of a sudden join the spirit of the universe, and does my consciousness
just become part of the whole consciousness?
And does it come back? And do we come back? And I mean, that's it's the scary thing. And I'm trying. I really want to know, but nobody knows, and that's
I think I remember that Norm conversation because he was saying something about maybe he was talking to Larry King, and Larry King said he had a fear of not existing, and then he maybe mentioned the philosopher when he saw a picture of his parents and he didn't exist. It didn't elicit any fear.
No,
even though at that point in time he didn't exist.
It might have just been peace, and that's the thing I maybe glean from it the most is even as you're like still trying to hold on to your life, if you're dying, I don't know how you're dying, or if I'm old, or if I'm on the side of the road after I got hit on a motorcycle. I don't know.
Yeah.
But that's the thing that scares me, is the missing out, the FOMO. I've kind of shed that with like, if you go to parties and stuff, or if you don't, you feel like you're missing out on things.
Yeah.
And
the fear is dying now and missing out on all the things that you could have done after
life. Yeah. The lazy days on the couch where you didn't do anything, and you're like, I had more to say, I had more to offer, and I didn't get to.
Yeah.
And working with that in life, I think that scares me more, where I'm the lazy sloth guy, and then also the guy who really wants to like work and get a lot of things done and leave some mark, however small, if it's a chair in a Goodwill somewhere years later.
You left something.
Yeah,
you made something. You gave
I think that's beautiful.
Yeah, I think so too.
But I don't know what happens when you die.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that. I just know that you shit your pants.
Yeah, you shit your pants.
And somebody hopefully cleans you up.
Somebody finds it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people die all the time.
Yeah.
And I don't know all of them, but I know it's going to happen to me.
Yeah.
I just hope it doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
But it probably will.
Yeah.
Probably will.
Yeah, it'll probably
be the most
terror,
amount of pain,
fear.
You experience. And then I think it's just bliss. I think it's the most of those scary feelings.
Yeah.
And then also the best of those great, peaceful feelings.
Yeah, I listened to a near-death experience recently of a guy who got trapped under ice in a stream in Germany. Yeah.
Oh, was he talking about how he like passed over a little bit and was he looking at himself kind of?
I think something like that, and he was entering this other space where it was overwhelming to process, and he was starting to process it, but it was like everything, but he still felt like he was still himself. He was still his own
essence,
distinct
person,
soul, person, whatever.
Nice.
And he said he didn't have fear. It was warm and like beautiful. And he said he felt like the longer he stayed here, the more he like it would start to come into focus, and he would like. Yeah. But he had eternity to figure it out, and it was like, and then he. I don't know how long he was under. I think it was like 5 to 7 minutes or something. Wow. It was pretty nuts. And then somebody, he like spit up a gallon of pond water and was back in the world. But
yeah,
I thought that was pretty good.
That'd be pretty cool.
That was pretty comfortable. That wouldn't be so bad.
It'd be tough. You know? Yeah. Maybe then I'd worry about being depressed in heaven.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Is
there something else? Like
Larry David. Like, it's not that good.
It's a little bright. I like seasons. You know?
Like, what do you want?
Yeah. I don't know if there's a heaven or a hell. I think there can be heaven. I think it's heaven on earth and hell on earth. That's
Dude,
that's what I kind of think about it.
Yeah. Hell definitely.
So you can have a hellish existence.
Dude,
like
it could be bad here, bro.
Envious and hateful, and resentful, and everything.
It was weird when I was a kid how I'd conceptualize hell. I wasn't Catholic. I was pretty strict evangelical, and I would conceptualize it as like if I had put my hand on the stove, how bad does that hurt, and that feeling all over your entire body. I would think about it in terms of physical pain.
Doesn't sound good.
But now I'm like, bro, like you see people, or just in your own life, if you ever have like, you know, depression or just you know.
Have you tried to kill it, or have you wanted to kill yourself?
No, I've never gotten to that point, despite the name of the show here.
Nice.
But
well, that's good.
Yeah, yeah. Never came to that, but you know, I think hell on earth definitely is something that I hadn't thought about as a kid.
Yeah,
but and heaven on earth. There's like some bright spots.
Oh, for sure.
Comedy's pretty good.
Comedy, good people.
Moments. Yeah,
can't be all
just
the time.
Just stock up a lot of those.
Because a lot of
make some shit. That's kind of
it's a slog.
Yeah,
a lot of it, and it's finding reasons to keep existing.
Yeah,
and wanting to improve your existence.
For sure.
That's tough.
Yeah. Well, dude, I appreciate you getting pretty philosophical with me here.
Oh,
it's a guilty pleasure for me getting down.
I love it.
Getting down to the heart of it.
No, this has been really nice.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed this immensely.
Me too, Dan.
I have. This has been very nice.
Me too.
Thank you.
Well, dude, we can wrap it up here.
Cool.
You got anything you want to shout out? Any shows coming up? Anything? I'm really anxious or eager to hear this the podcasts.
With this one?
With you and your fiance.
Oh yeah, she's fun. Yeah. Well, we got.
What does she do?
She works in a real estate office.
Okay.
As an administrator, and she hates it.
Okay.
So, I don't know.
She needs something fun to be doing then.
Yeah. She's like a creative, kind of goofy person.
Creative. What is her creative outlet?
Graphic art. Okay. And then also she does these little voices and faces, and kind of becomes these little characters and stuff.
Like she'll doodle them.
No, like she'll act them out. Yeah.
Ah.
But she likes like logo design and making things look nice and organizing space. And, burning sage. Which she's kind of like that. But that job is just she hates it.
Yeah.
But she's also a Type A person, so she's very good at it.
Yeah.
But yeah, we do a podcast called Coots and Pen. On Apple and Spotify.
Yeah.
And we got 2 episodes out. We'll have to get you on it sometime. Because we actually want to come up to Greenville.
Word? Yeah, come up,
and
dude.
just visit. And could we hook another mic up onto this?
Yeah, there's 4 connections here.
I could bring a microphone.
Yeah.
And we'll just go to your place.
Yeah.
A little reciprocity as it were. And do that. Because we want to have people on. And it's just a fuck around kind of thing. We're still trying to find our voices.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do we mean? What does this stand for? That's a hard thing to do. Is put
Dude,
something
I love the couple podcasts though. Like I don't know, the one I've been checking out a little bit is Your Mom's House. I don't know if you like that.
Yeah, love
Segura.
Your Mom's House. Christina P. I love her.
Yeah.
They're great.
Yeah.
We don't want it to be like that because you want to make your own thing.
For sure.
Not that we ever would. I mean, they're uber successful. But you want
it would be your own thing, but
you try to figure out what's our thing, and that's the fun of it. And the scary part is what's the destination of this thing.
Right.
So it's just enjoying the journey and not.
And what kind of structure have you applied to it? Is it just?
So we put like sound clips and then. Like structure, it's just been generally a conversation, although we've talked about doing like skits.
Okay.
Kind of like the last one, but
the production value of that is so great.
Thank you.
It reminds me of,
I loved like
just old-timey radio or like
old Adam Sandler albums. I don't know if you ever heard those, but he used to do these like just kind of goofy skits.
Yeah.
And I loved that. And my grandfather used to Burt Knives, which is this old Maine comedy troupe.
Yeah.
I used to listen to those.
Yeah.
And they were just stories and I like. It's hard because I wrestle with does it need a point or it should have a point,
right?
For
sure.
Does it not need a point?
Yeah,
because
like making a point is it's
nice.
More labor intensive and it takes time to like put thought into it, write a script,
feels with authority or But even then, like, what is the point of the thing? And I think it's just enjoying. If you'd like to waste time with us, we would appreciate that.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly the spirit of most podcasts. You just go along and.
Yeah, go along with the journey, and you just jump into somebody else's life and see what they're doing, and maybe you don't feel so alone in this world,
right? Yeah,
that's tough.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But thanks for not making me feel alone today on this gray Sunday.
No, thank you for Sunday mornings, sacred time.
This is really nice.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's good.
It's been a religious experience.
It's been a religious experience. Yeah. All right, man. Well, dude, thanks for coming, man. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Good idea.